Hello Tabbers, my name is Mark. Welcome to my home. This video is the start of phase 3 of my lithium battery replacement project. If you haven't watched the previous videos in this project, I would recommend that you do that so you know what's going on. This is phase 3 of a 4-phase process. First phase, let's say this is my trailer. This is my truck. In the first phase, I put in a converter that knows how to charge a lithium battery. The converter that's typically in my age of trailer, it's a 2015 Tab Max S, doesn't know how to charge a lithium battery. It only knows how to charge a lead acid battery. So in phase 1, I replaced that converter with a converter that knows how to charge a battery. In phase 2, I installed heavier duty cables, larger gauge cables, back to my 7-pin connector to handle the additional current that the lithium battery will need. In this video, in phase 3, I'm going to install what's called a DC to DC charge converter. Charge controller. That controller is going to sit in my tub up front with the battery. And what it basically does is a lithium battery, it's different than a lead acid battery. The alternator that's in the front of your truck is designed to charge a lead acid battery. It's not designed to charge a lithium battery. So just like the converter back here that charges this battery when I'm plugged into street power, you need to get a converter here that knows how to charge the battery when you're connected to your truck. Now, I had to replace those lines in there because a lithium battery has a tendency to draw a whole lot of current. If it can, it'll pull as much current as it can get. And the wires in your 7-pin connector are not up to that. So what happens here is this voltage starts dropping as it starts drawing all kinds of current here. It goes from 14 volts, 13 volts, 12. You can find it down to 10 volts sometimes, depending on the amount of current that's being pulled. And 10 volts is not enough to charge a lithium battery. So let's take a look. This is an Orion-TR Smart Isolated DC to DC Charger. It's made by Victron Energy. Victron's a great company. It's got other Victron stuff in my truck. This is an Orion-TR Smart 121218. What this basically does is got 2 input lines here, positive and negative, so this comes from your alternator, and 2 output lines here, positive and negative, that go to your battery. This takes the voltage from your truck that's like 12 volts. It's because you've got a smart, most of us have smart alternators here, and so the voltage drops down. It takes that low voltage here, steps it back up to what's necessary to charge a lithium battery. So it'll take like 11 volts in and bump it up to 14, 15 volts if it's needed to charge that battery. So this unit is going to go in that tub with my battery. Just that straightforward. So let's talk about what this is. It's 12 volt, 12 volt. They sell these 24 volt, which means you put 24 volts in and get 24 volts out. The third number here is 18. This is an 18 amp smart charger. So that when this lithium battery tries to pull all kinds of current, this device will cap that current at 18 amps. You can get these in 20 amps, 40 amps, 60 amps, 80 amps. You can get them in all kinds of really powerful things. And that's great for your lithium battery, charges it real fast, but not so great on your alternator. I chose 18 amps because it will charge a lithium battery. In my typical trip is about 5 to 6 hours. 18 amps will charge a lithium battery that's not completely discharged, but most of the way discharged in about my driving time. That's why I chose this. The other thing is that it allows me, because it's going to be capped at 18 amps, I don't have to upgrade my alternator in my truck. I don't have to worry about this guy overheating my alternator or wearing it out or anything. This, because I've got it tapped down to 18 amps, I don't have to do any major rework to my truck alternator system. So we're going to go ahead and mount this in the truck, or not in the truck, in the tub of the trailer. Now we need to take a look at this guy. It's pretty well sealed, pretty well. It's water resistant. It's not waterproof, and that tub up front is water resistant but not waterproof. So I need to do some more waterproofing of this because it's going to be mounted in the tub, and if I get a splash on here, I want to make sure that the electronics is not damaged. So what I'm going to do is right around the lip here, you see right along this lip, I'm going to run a little bit of caulk right around the entire perimeter of this, so if this guy gets splashed, water doesn't go inside there. After these are screw blocks, you can see in there. Once I put the wires in, I'm going to take a little piece of tape, aluminum tape, not duct tape, because duct tape doesn't last. But I'm going to put a piece of aluminum tape on the front of those to seal these holes up, and a little bit of caulk around after the wires are in around here. And that won't make this waterproof, but it'll make it much more water resistant, and I won't have any trouble with it. So next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and start laying in a little bit of caulk around this perimeter, and we'll be back. See you in a bit. Okay, we're just using some silicone caulk, and you can see I've got a really light little bead right along there. So I've done it along this side, and I'll do it along here, along there, and along there, and we'll be good to go. Just be careful. A little bit of caulk, not a lot. You don't want to goop this up or anything, just enough to seal the gap. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, we are all sealed up all the way around. No big deal, just a little extra protection in case this guy gets splashed or a little bit of mist or something on it. Won't give me any trouble. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go out to the truck and we're going to mount this guy inside the tub. Let's get at it. Okay, here we are outside. Nice sunny day out. Hopefully the video's not too washed out for you. But on my tub, I've removed the propane tank from here. I've already done a bunch of wiring onto my battery, which includes thicker cables. Lithium batteries require more current, so I just upgraded. Instead of having the 10 gauge cables, I've now got 6 everywhere. I want you to see these are the screw mounts where this is going to go. Let me show you how this is going to mount. Let me put the phone down because it's hard with one hand here. Okay, we have that mounted. Stainless steel screws, nuts, bolts, washers on the front. It's not tied down tight. When I'm finished, I will put Loctite on each one of these threads to keep it from vibrating loose. But I'll cut my cables to length so that they'll mount to the underside of that. All I have to do is connect my battery positive and battery negative to one side, and my truck positive and truck negative to the other side. So let's go ahead and get at that. Oh, I wanted to let you know, the reason I mounted it down here, this is the bolt for my propane tank. I was going to mount this unit up here, but it would be in the way when I go ahead and pull my propane tank out. Being down there, it's not in the way. I can get to this bolt, pull everything out. My battery comes out. It's just not in the way right there. So, see you in a bit. Okay, back inside. A little check tip for you. I'm making up a set of cables that will run from that charge converter and plug into the back of my truck where the 7-pin is. And these are typical stranded cables, but the box, the converter that this gets plugged into, those are screw down terminals. You know, you plug this in there and then you screw it down tight. And you know that this can get real messy because these wires can get frayed and stuff. There's a product that you want to buy. They're called ferrules. Ferrules. They are matched to the gauge. This is 6-gauge wire, so this is a 6-gauge ferrule. And what you basically do is you slip, these are little tubes. You slip these ferrules over, making sure you catch all the little pieces. Just like that. And you see how that contains all the little strands. Then you take your crimper tool and you crimp this ferrule on there. And then this ferrule is what plugs into the bottom of the charge converter, and you screw the screw down on it. Keeps it all intact, keeps it from getting little hairs sticking out that'll short out and stuff. This is the way to do it. Get yourself a bag of ferrules, put the ferrules on the stranded wire, crimp them on, you're good to go. Just a little tech tip. Okay, another day out here. Starting to rain today, so we'll make this short and cut this into another video, but I wanted to show these are the connections to the isolated DC to DC charger. These are the output, these are the input. They're 6-gauge wires. I've got them terminated in the ferrules with wire wrap on them and ready to go, so we'll move that down into the bottom there. Oh, and last thing, this, I wanted to show you, this wire is the signal wire that lets this guy know that the truck is running or not, because you don't want this battery to be drawing from a truck if your truck is not running. it'll drain the battery in the truck. So you need some way to signal this. Now you can do that through software. I've just chosen to do it through a hardware signaling. This wire that's here ties to my charge wire on my 7-pin connector. Like you've seen before, this is my 7-pin connector, and the charge wire that's there goes high when the truck is running and goes low when it's not. So that was a perfect signal wire to use to let this guy know that the truck's running or not. So here's my 7-pin that plugs into my truck, and here is my new high current lithium charging. The nice thing here is that when I'm done, not only will my truck be able to provide enough current to run these things, it'll be able to charge a lithium battery, and I'll be able to run my refrigerator on DC without having any problem at all. This guy will supply more than enough current to run that refrigerator, my 3-way refrigerator, while I'm going down the road. You know, I know a lot of people struggle with that their vehicles they've got smart alternators, that kind of thing, and they're just not capable of applying enough current back here to do everything you need to do. So with that heavier cable and this charge converter, I'll be able to do basically anything I want back here while I'm driving down the road. Excuse me. Anyway, in the last video, I'll tidy this all up, bolt it back down, and finish it all up. And we will show you the testing and the results of it. So stay tuned. See you next time.